I saw her with my own eyes. Her hands on his neck, his dirty uniform halfway off, and their laughter echoing in our bedroom, the one I spent 3 years paying off. I stood frozen in the doorway, holding a bouquet and her favorite coffee. That moment split my life in half, and I haven't been the same since. I wasn't supposed to come home early, but my job at the auto body shop cut me loose at noon after a power outage. So I stopped by her favorite cafe, grabbed a vanilla latte with extra whipped cream, and thought it might be nice to surprise her. It was our 5-year anniversary. Nothing fancy, just small gestures. That was how I showed love. As I pulled into our driveway, something already felt off. There was a trash truck parked right outside our house, not on the curb, not in front of a neighbor's lawn, dead center in front of our door. It was weird, but I didn't think too hard about it. I figured maybe they were doing something unusual with the route. I walked up the porch, coffee and flowers in hand. I didn't make noise. Just unlocked the door like I always do. I wish I hadn't. Our bedroom's down the hall, third door on the right. From the moment I opened the front door, I could hear something. Movement. Not footsteps, rhythmic thumps. Laughter. A woman's moan. Her moan. I stood there, my shoes still on the doormat, just listening like a ghost. The trash guy's fluorescent green pants were on the floor. His boots, muddy and caked in something brown, were half kicked under the bed I built with my own hands. She was on top of him, laughing like it was the best joke she'd ever heard. I dropped the coffee. Didn't even realize it until I heard the thud of the cup hitting the floor and the whipped cream splashing my jeans. That was the sound that gave me away. She turned and smiled. Not a guilty smile. Not even surprise. Just a slow, smug curve of her lips, like she'd been waiting for this. "Oh," she said, still on top of him. "You're home early." The guy, mid-40s, got spilling over his belt, sweat on his neck, didn't even flinch. He just looked at me and grinned. I don't think he had a single tooth in the back of his mouth. "Hey there," he said. "Didn't know you were into sharing." She slid off him, stood up, and reached for her robe like nothing happened. "Relax," she told me, as if I was overreacting. "It's not that deep." That's when I realized this wasn't the first time. This wasn't an accident or some lapse in judgment. This was planned, calculated. She wanted me to see. And the worst part? She laughed when I cried. I didn't yell, didn't throw anything. I just backed away, stepped on the spilled coffee, and walked out the door. My hands were shaking. My knees barely worked. But I made it to my car, locked the door, and sat in silence for over an hour, staring at nothing. And the whole time, her voice echoed in my head. "You're just so easy to lie to." She was right. And that's when the real pain began. I didn't sleep that night. I barely moved. Just sat in my car, parked behind the gas station down the street, replaying it all again and again. Her laugh, his face, the way she didn't even try to deny it. Around 4 in the morning, I drove back, not home, just around the block. I saw the trash truck was gone, but her light in the bedroom was still on. I didn't go in. At 7:30 a.m., my phone buzzed. Text from her. "We need to talk. Come home." I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe that she'd break down, cry, say she made a mistake. I still loved her, even after what she did. I thought maybe, just maybe, we could fix it. So I went back. She was in the kitchen, sitting like nothing had happened. Her face barely registered anything when she saw me. "You look awful," she said, eyes still on the screen. I asked her one question. "Why am?" She looked up, then shrugged. "He listens. He compliments me. He doesn't cry when I ignore him." She chuckled. "He's not boring." That was the word that cracked me open. Boring. I had given her everything I could. Worked late shifts. Took her mom to doctor appointments when she didn't want to. Cleaned the gutters. Remembered her birthday every year even when she forgot mine. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I thought that counted for something. "You're too soft," she said, standing up. "You act like some lost puppy all the time. It's pathetic." I stood there, gripping the back of a chair just to keep from collapsing. "I still love you," I whispered. We can fix this. I'll forgive you." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, please," she said, walking past me. "You'd forgive a thunderstorm for ruining your wedding day." Then she laughed again, like it was funny that I was still hanging on. "You actually believed me all those years," she added. "That I was loyal. That I meant those anniversary posts on Instagram. You really are as gullible as they come." I didn't answer. I couldn't. She got in the shower and left the bathroom door wide open. She wanted me to see the hickeys on her neck. I did. They weren't mine. I spent the rest of the day on the couch, staring at the black screen of our TV. She came out in a robe, sat down beside me, and turned on a reality show like it was any normal day. "You going to cry again?" she asked during a commercial break. "Or you want to go buy me groceries like a good boy?" I went. Not because I wanted to, but because I didn't know what else to do. I was too weak to leave, too ashamed to stay. When I got back, she had locked the bedroom door. Said she needed her space. And I slept on the floor like a dog that night. Not because she told me to. Because I still believed she might open the door. Because I still thought I deserved the pain. Because I was still hoping she'd let me back in. The next morning, she handed me a list. "Since you're staying," she said, without looking up from her coffee, "you might as well be useful." It was a to-do list. Groceries. Oil change for her car. Take her dog, not ours, to the vet. She handed it to me like I was the hired help. Not her husband. Not even her roommate. Just a convenience. I nodded, took the list, and something inside me started to shift. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was empty. But in that silence, something started forming. A question. What if I made her feel this powerless? This humiliated? This exposed? It wasn't revenge I wanted. It was clarity. I needed her to know what it was like to beg for the very thing she destroyed. That day, I opened a private browser tab and started reading. Not about cheating or heartbreak. No. I read about credit scores, rental laws, subletting. I started reviewing every financial thread that tied us together. I pulled the lease from the drawer. My name was the only one on it. She had begged me to sign it alone 3 years ago because she had bad credit and didn't want it to hurt us. Funny how that worked out. I checked our bank accounts. She had her own, always did. But we had one shared savings. I never questioned it because I was the only one contributing. There was $3,267 in it. The next morning, I transferred all but $50 into a new private account, one she couldn't touch. I started calling around. The landlord liked me, always had. I asked what the process would be if someone was staying in the apartment without being on the lease. He chuckled. Simple. They gotta go. I thanked him. That night, she came home late. Hair done, makeup smudged, heels in hand. She looked at me and laughed. "Still here?" she said, throwing her shoes in the corner. "You ever think about growing a spine?" I smiled for the first time in days. "Oh, I think about a lot of things now." She didn't like that. "What's that supposed to mean?" she snapped. "Nothing," I said, still smiling. "You'll see." She stood there for a moment, unsure of what to say. For once, she didn't have the upper hand. And she felt it. She slammed the bedroom door. The next day, I took photos of everything, every receipt, every item I bought for that apartment, every text she ever sent me claiming she was out with coworkers. I started building a record. Not for court. Not yet. Just for leverage. Just in case. Then I did something that scared even me. I called her job. Not to say anything. Just to confirm if she still worked there. Receptionist said she was out on sick leave. Sick leave. She was using paid time off to sleep with a man who collects garbage for a living while I picked up her dog's pills. I didn't sleep again that night. Not out of heartbreak, but because I finally had a goal. She was going to wish she had never met me. And I was going to do it without yelling, without threats, without ever touching a single thing in that apartment. I was going to take away what she valued most. Her image. Her comfort. Her control. She didn't notice it at first. The little shifts. That's how I planned it. Monday morning, she was still asleep when I slipped out. I took the keys to my car, not hers, just mine, and drove to a UPS store. I opened a private mailbox under a new name. Not fake, just my middle name and a variation of my last. Enough to keep anything I ordered or redirected hidden from her. Step 1. A new phone plan, new number. I kept my old phone, turned it into a decoy. She still thought she could check my messages or location if she needed. But now, I had a second device. A real one. The one with the plan. Step 2. The landlord. I offered to pay 3 months ahead if he started eviction on a cohabiting non-tenant. He said he'd draft the notice by the end of the week. "You sure you want to do this?" he asked. "Dead sure," I said. When I got home that night, she was on the couch, scrolling Instagram. "Can you grab me wine?" she asked without looking at me. "Already did," I said, handing her a bottle of cheap red. She didn't even notice it was the knockoff kind she once mocked. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. She started asking questions. "Hey, did we get paid? I thought the joint account was low. I moved our money to savings. For rent." Oh. She didn't argue. but I saw the flicker of something in her eyes. Worry. That night, I walked into the bathroom after she'd showered. Her phone was unlocked on the counter. She was texting him. Trash boy. He's still here. Pathetic. Might start charging him rent, lol. I took a screenshot. Sent it to my real phone. Then deleted it. Let her think she was still winning. Friday morning, she woke up to a yellow paper taped to the bedroom door. Notice to vacate, unauthorized occupant. She burst into the kitchen holding the paper like it was a threat. What is this? I sipped my coffee and shrugged. Landlord doesn't want people here who aren't on the lease. It's policy. Nothing I can do. You did this, she hissed. Hey, I said, standing. I've been nothing but understanding. But if you want to keep seeing other people, maybe you should go live with one of them. She froze. For the first time since I caught her, she didn't have a comeback. That day, I came home to silence. She was in the bedroom, packing a duffel bag. You're leaving? I asked. She didn't look up. Just staying with a friend for the weekend. I nodded, walked away. But the second the door closed behind her, I got to work. I printed out the screenshots. Her messages to him. Photos of her leaving the apartment within 2 nights earlier. Even the Uber receipt she used, she was dumb enough to email it to our shared Gmail. I put it all in a manila folder labeled Family and Friends. The next day, I mailed 5 copies. 1 to her sister, 1 to her mother, 1 to her childhood best friend, 1 to her boss, and 1 to him. He had no idea what was coming. She didn't either. By Sunday night, my phone was lighting up like a firework. Her sister, is this real? Her mom, we need to talk. Her boss, this is completely unacceptable. And then, a call from her. I didn't answer. I sat on the couch, sipping the same cheap wine she once laughed at me for buying. And for the first time in weeks, I smiled. I had landed the first blow. And she never saw it coming. She showed up Monday morning at 8:12. Hair tied back. No makeup. Hoodie over leggings. But her eyes, those were different. Cold. Focused. She didn't knock. She barged in. You think you're smart? She said. Sending my messages to my boss? My mom. I didn't say a word. Just leaned against the kitchen counter and stared at her. Congrats, she sneered. You humiliated me. Took your little revenge shot. Feel like a man again. I could have said a lot, but I just asked. Why are you here? That stopped her for a second. I still live here, she said, holding up her phone. And according to tenant rights, you can't evict me without proper notice. I talked to someone. Your little paper stunt? Worthless. She wasn't wrong. I hadn't expected her to move fast, but she had. She walked straight into the bedroom and slammed the door behind her. An hour later, I got an email from my manager. Hey, we received a complaint regarding inappropriate online behavior. Someone submitted screenshots and a typed statement about emotional instability and potential threats. We'll need to meet ASAP. I knew what that was. She went after my job. I dug into the email metadata. Guess what? The IP matched the same neighborhood cafe she always worked at. I sat down on the edge of the bed. She was lying there, scrolling. You trying to get me fired? I asked. She didn't even look up. Just leveling the playing field. That night, she called the landlord. Put on a sweet voice. Claimed I was emotionally unstable. Accused me of threatening behavior. I overheard it through the wall. She even mentioned possible retaliation if I'm forced out. By morning, I got a call from the property management company. They were suspending the eviction process until a formal review could be done. I was stunned. She smiled at me over her cereal the next day. See? You're not the only one who can play games. Then came the worst part. She went public. She posted on social media, Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok, videos of herself crying in the living room. Carefully staged. Filtered. Captions like, abandoned after years of emotional neglect. I stayed faithful while he made me feel invisible. When you try to leave, and he tries to destroy you. People ate it up. Friends I hadn't talked to in years started messaging me things like, Bro, what happened? She's saying you locked her out? Is it true you're stalking her at work? My phone exploded. My image, the one I spent years quietly building, was unraveling in real time. And her? She was getting flooded with sympathy. Suddenly, I wasn't the one who'd been cheated on. I was the villain in her story. She even messaged my sister, telling her I needed professional help and that she was worried for my safety. By Wednesday, HR at my job placed me on administrative leave pending a full review. My stomach dropped when I saw the email. I had started the war, but she just won the round. And now, I was backed into a corner. With no job, no plan B, and a reputation crumbling by the hour. She walked into the living room that night with a smirk. "Still think you're in control?" she asked. I said nothing. Because for the first time since this all began, I wasn't. The next morning, I shaved. Not because I cared how I looked, but because I needed to see my own face clearly. I stared in the mirror for 5 solid minutes, forcing myself to face the man she called weak, boring, invisible. I wasn't any of those things. I just forgot who I was. Until now. I sat down and made a list. Not of what she took from me, but what I still had. What she didn't know I could use. 1. I still had access to her cloud backup. She never changed the password. 2. I still had the hard drive from our old laptop, her digital photo album from 2016 to 2023. 3. I had the printed texts and photos she thought were gone. I uploaded everything, every chat, every calendar entry, every selfie she took in front of hotel mirrors with garbage bags and plumbing tools in the background. And I made a website. Private at first. herfullstory.com. A single page. No names. No addresses. No slander. Just screenshots, photos, timelines. I added a password lock. For now. Then I reached out to a woman named Emily. Emily was the girlfriend of one of the guys her trash lover used to date. We'd met once, years ago. She was sweet, smart, worked in local news. I didn't ask her to publish anything. I just sent her the link and said, "If he ever hurts someone else like he helped hurt me, send them this." She read it, then messaged back, "You have no idea how much this will help others. Thank you." I didn't want revenge through violence or shame. I wanted truth. So I gave it to people quietly, just a few trusted ones. Not to destroy her, but to disarm her. Next, I called HR at work. Scheduled a meeting. In person. I brought every email, message, and recording I had proving that she had faked the complaint, including a screen recording of her rehearsing the abused speech in our mirror. She was smiling in the video, adjusting her lighting. It was disgusting. HR didn't say much. But 3 hours later, I got a call. "You've been reinstated. Officially. Sorry for the confusion." When I walked back into the apartment that night, she was painting her nails, watching Netflix. "Back already?" she said, not looking up. I dropped a printed copy of the reinstatement letter in front of her. She looked at it, then up at me. No words. Just that look. She knew. "Think you're so clever," she mumbled. I leaned in. "No," I said. "I just stopped being scared." She stood up, staring me down. "You think you're winning?" she snapped. "I don't need to win," I said. "I just need the world to see who you are." She backed off. Didn't speak to me for 2 days. But I knew what she was doing. Regrouping. Waiting. Planning her next strike. But this time, I was ready. And I had just begun. It was Friday when I noticed something was off. She was too calm. Too quiet. Didn't insult me. Didn't throw her usual passive-aggressive lines. Just floated around the apartment like she was waiting for something. And then, around noon, it hit me. All my emails were locked. Banking. Job. Personal. Access denied. I tried to reset passwords. Nothing. My recovery email had been switched out. Panic surged. I checked my credit card app. Locked. I opened my bank portal from my phone. My main checking account was frozen for fraud verification. Then came the final hit. My boss called. "Hey, we need to talk. IT flagged unusual activity coming from your IP. Logins to internal documents from an unknown device. There's also an email you apparently sent, trashing the department. Did you write that?" No, I hadn't. But I already knew who did. She must have gotten into my old laptop. I left it in the hall closet last month. Forgot it was synced to my email for backup. She had access all along. And she waited. Like a snake. I felt the floor tilt under me. I rushed home, heart racing. She was in the kitchen, sipping tea. "You look stressed," she said without turning. "What did you do?" She turned slowly. "You used my words, my pictures, my face, without consent. You humiliated me. Did you really think I'd just sit there and let you build your little website?" I didn't answer. She smiled. "I spoke to a lawyer. That her full story page? That's defamation. And if anyone else shares it, I can sue for damages. Real ones. With receipts." I stared at her. She held up her phone. "You've been reported to 3 platforms already. Websites going down by morning." I stayed quiet. I didn't want to give her more to use. "Oh, and FYI," she added. "That thing you sent to my boss? She didn't fire me. She promoted me. I blinked. What? She smirked. Turns out, they already knew about my personal life. Guess what? They didn't care. Said I handled the situation with poise under pressure. Called me resilient. I staggered back a step. This wasn't just personal anymore. She was reshaping reality in her favor again. She didn't care about truth. She cared about optics. And she was winning. That night, I checked the website. Gone. Account suspended for harassment and violation of community standards. Emily messaged me. Did she come after you? My login stopped working too. I replied. Yeah, she's not done. At 2:43 a.m., I got a message from an unknown number. You played your turn. Now watch mine. She wasn't bluffing. Monday morning, I got served. Restraining order hearing. She was accusing me of emotional abuse, citing evidence of manipulation, privacy invasion, retaliatory harassment. Even listed my eviction notice and the shared website as proof. I sat in my living room, lights off, staring at the paper in my hands. She had flipped it all. And now, I was the one being investigated. She had the story, the sympathy, the system, and all I had left was the truth. But nobody wanted to hear it anymore. I didn't sleep before the hearing, didn't eat. I sat at the kitchen table with that restraining order paperwork in front of me like it was a death sentence. But the one thing she forgot? I wasn't scared anymore. She thought the system would do her bidding, that I'd fold when the court got involved. But I had something she didn't. Receipts. I spent all night printing them. Every message she sent. Every fake login attempt. Every photo she took in the mirror for her trash boy that included my laundry basket, my property, and my apartment. I pulled security camera footage from our hallway, small detail, but enough to show that she came and went freely, smiling, on the same day she claimed she feared for her safety. I even found an email where she openly admitted to logging into my accounts to make things harder for me. And the cherry on top? A voice memo. She forgot that my old phone still auto-recorded incoming calls for note-taking. 2 weeks ago, she called me while at her job and said, "You deserve this. I hope you lose everything. I'll bury you in court if I have to." That memo? Timestamped. Clear audio. So when I walked into that courtroom 2 days later, I wasn't some crying, heartbroken man. I was ready. She walked in with a lawyer, hair curled, modest dress, zero makeup, playing the perfect victim. She cried while she spoke. Shaking voice, rehearsed pauses. The judge nodded like he'd heard this 100 times. And then it was my turn. I asked for permission to present digital evidence. The judge approved. So I laid it all out. Emails, screenshots, access logs, GPS data, the audio clip. I ended with a signed statement from our landlord confirming that she had never once filed a complaint, requested protection, or even asked to be separated from me. The judge went quiet. Her lawyer whispered something fast. She looked at me, her face dropped. She wasn't in control anymore. The judge denied the restraining order, then turned to her. "I'm advising both parties to cease contact and separate housing immediately. But based on this, I see no basis for a protective order." She didn't say a word on the way out. She just stared straight ahead, lips tight, jaw clenched. I didn't follow her. I didn't need to. Because later that night, something happened that turned the tables even more. Her trash boyfriend posted a video. Drunk. Ranting. Complaining that she lied to him too. She said he hit her. I don't mess with that. She's crazy, man. I just wanted some fun. In the background, someone shouted, "Yo, delete that, bro." But it was too late. I saved the video. The internet moved fast. Mutuals started seeing it. Friends she hadn't spoken to in months started messaging me again. What's going on with her? Dude, I think people are catching on. She messed up, didn't she? The tide was shifting. Her image was cracking. And now, for the first time since this all began, she was the one on defense. But I wasn't done. Because I had found something else, something deeper. Not revenge. Not humiliation. Power. And I was about to use it. I should have seen it coming. Just when I thought I had her cornered. When the video of her boyfriend ranting had started circulating. When the messages started trickling in again with phrases like, "Maybe we judged too quickly," she vanished. No social media. No calls. No texts. Complete silence. It lasted 5 days. On the 6th, I got a letter in the mail. Not typed. Handwritten. Elegant cursive I recognized immediately. Legal notice. She had filed a civil claim against me for invasion of privacy, emotional distress, and defamation, seeking $75,000 in damages. She was serious. She was going to burn the whole thing down and walk away clean. I called every person I knew who could help, but the truth was she'd done her homework this time. All the posts, screenshots, even the site I created, they were gone. Scrubbed. Nothing left but screen recordings I wasn't even sure would be admissible. And her? She was back to being untouchable. Word started getting around that she'd lawyered up and was going to sue everyone who shared revenge content. People backed off. Fast. Messages stopped. Support faded. She'd reset the board again. And this time, she won. I sat on the edge of my bed the night after I got the notice, holding it in both hands. My job was hanging by a thread. My bank accounts were under investigation after she flagged them for suspicious activity. I had nowhere else to go but that apartment, which I now had to share with her until a court ruled otherwise. She walked in around 11 p.m. that night. New outfit. Clean makeup. No expression. She looked at me. Calm. Cold. You picked the wrong one to play games with, she said. This is the part where you disappear quietly, or I bury you. I didn't respond. I didn't move. She leaned in close. You think anyone will care? That video? That's gone. The site? Gone. You're one court order away from being labeled the aggressor forever. She turned to leave. Stopped in the doorway. Oh, and don't worry. I won't even need the trash guy anymore. There are others. Real men. She closed the door. And I sat there. In silence. Broken. Outmaneuvered. Powerless. But the universe has a strange sense of timing. Because 2 days later, I got a message request on my backup account. From a name I didn't recognize at first. Then I opened it. It was a screenshot. Her. At a bar. Leaning into a man's lap. Laughing. The timestamp? 3 weeks ago. While she was crying on TikTok. While she was in court claiming emotional trauma. Below the photo was a message. Hey, you don't know me, but I think we have the same problem. My hand shook. I replied. And what he sent next was bigger than anything I had ever seen. It wasn't just photos. It wasn't just messages. It was a trail. Financial. Legal. Personal. Tied to her. And if I used it right, she wouldn't just lose. She'd unravel. And for the first time in weeks, I said it out loud. Now it's my turn. His name was Marcus. He used to work IT for a private security firm. Smart guy. Quiet. He met her through a friend of a friend's situation, hookup turned thing turned chaos. When he realized she was playing him like she played me, he started keeping records. Backups. Voice memos. Even financial data. She didn't know he knew. She definitely didn't know he kept everything. He sent me a folder. Encrypted. 274 files. Screenshots of her texts bragging about how easy it was to manipulate men. Audio recordings where she laughed about faking panic attacks. Bank statements, her bank, with transaction notes like, reimbursing, redacted, for distraction work. She had paid people to interfere with me, with my job. But the crown jewel? A recorded conversation. She was on the phone with a woman, maybe a cousin, maybe a friend. Hard to tell, but her voice was clear. He'll never touch me legally. I've got backup plans for my backup plans. Worst case, I'll cry. Courts love tears. That was it. That was all I needed. I sat on it for 2 days. Just sat, thinking. I didn't want to destroy her out of bitterness. I wanted to end the game. So I called a lawyer. One of the best I could afford. Showed her the material. She leaned forward, looked at me, and said, if you want to go nuclear, we can go nuclear. We drafted 3 motions. Petition to reopen the civil defamation case with new evidence. Formal complaint to her employer's ethics board. A quiet, anonymous tip to the state's attorney's office about financial fraud. All prepped. All ready. I just needed to press send. I scheduled it for Monday morning. And then Sunday night, someone knocked on my door. I opened it. It was her. No makeup. No performance. Just a hoodie, slippers, and swollen red eyes. She walked in without asking. Held her phone out. I know what you have. I didn't speak. She dropped to her knees. Right there. In my living room. I'm sorry, she whispered. Please. Don't do this. Don't ruin me. I'll lose my job. I'll lose everything. She was crying now. I don't care about the money, she said. I don't care about being right anymore. I can't come back from this. Please. She reached for my leg like she was trying to hold on to something. Anything. And for a moment, I saw her as the woman I once loved. Not the one who mocked me. Not the one who tried to destroy me. Just a broken human being. Terrified. And you know what? I didn't press send. I deleted the folder, erased the motions, tossed the USB in the trash, and watched it sink into coffee grounds. She looked up at me, her face streaked with tears. "Why?" she whispered. I didn't answer her. I just turned around, walked to the window, stared out into the dark. And then I said it. The only thing that mattered. What would you have done in my place?